don't take me personally from what I'm saying. I don't have any strikes because I'm black, and that's how I look at it. Okay, when you put out there what you get, if you put out there and the energy that you put out, I have one strike because I'm black, or I feel no one's gonna hire me because I'm black. And two, that's one strike. Then my second strike, no one's gonna hire me because I have dreads. So you're already two strikes in. So you don't have one strike to go. So personally, I don't look at anything like that. I can go into a job, get any job I want because of who I am and the confidence I have in myself and the knowledge about the service or product that I'm interested in that I'm going to get.
I just want money in the bank. Have no time for them. We just pray and say amen. Been here, boys, since way back when. I just want money in the bank.
Hello, my name is Walt, and I'm the host of BossLocks, a show where we are redefining professionalism, elevating black voices, and proving that natural hair and professionalism do coexist. Now, we do that by speaking to black leaders, CEOs, professionals, and there's some really dope people to really understand their personal career and natural hair journey and how they have navigated professional environments while being unapologetically black and their true authentic selves. Now, today's guest isn't here with me today. And I mean, of course, everything I'm doing right now is virtual, but in today's episode, I'm going to take you back in time to April of 2017 for the very first interview that I ever did for BossLocks. And before I introduce our guest today, I actually want to shout out Caleb Robbins because this particular interview may not have happened if he didn't make the introduction. For those who've been listening from the beginning, you know that I came with this idea back in 2016, but I actually didn't really know what I was going to do with it or the direction I was going to take. So I was kind of toying with different ways to do this show. And kind of one day, Caleb just called me and said, "Hey, I told someone about your show and he's interested." And I was like, "Yo, whoa, you said what?" Like, all I had was a name for it. Didn't really know how I was going to do it or anything. But he's like, "Yeah, just come on up." And I really just did. I packed my car and brought everything I had with me to do this, which was basically just my phone and a phone mount that I got from TJ Maxx, yo. And I did the interview, but to be honest, it was one of the most nerve-wracking things that I've done on this journey so far. I remember walking up to the building after this like 3-4 hour drive and kind of wishing that, I was thinking like, oh, okay, maybe he just won't show up and I'll just go back chill with Caleb and my friends, yo. But no, he was there. We pulled up to his wife's office and he was asking me like, "Oh, where do you want to do it?" I was like, we just sit right here." I all I knew was that I needed to see him clearly. But yeah, so I set up the camera. Took me like an additional 5 minutes to set it up, not because I needed to do a lot, just because I wasn't sure. Like, okay, man, I'm kind of nervous. Like, guess it's time to go. So I hit record and he just went at it. And I definitely want to thank you, Melvin, for taking a chance because this was a really pivotal moment for me because this is the first time that I had spoken to someone with locks who was in a professional environment and um, was thriving without his hair or kind of his blackness kind of holding him back. So, without further ado, I want to welcome you all to this special episode back in time to 2017, where I speak to Melvin Ross and learn why his blackness isn't a strike against him and how he has navigated all sorts of environments in Bluefield, West Virginia. Thank you all for listening, and you'll hear from Melvin soon. I'll just go ahead and let's know your name and where you're from.
Okay. Melvin Ross, Bluefield, West Virginia.
And what do you do right now?
I manage an energy efficient company for Appalachian Power. I work for Honeywell. And we have a contract with AEP, which is a local utility in this area, to educate homeowners, residents on how to save off their utility bill. I do the whole state of Virginia for the AEP utility in this area.
All right. How long have you been growing your dreadlocks?
About 7 years. It started with my son right before he turned 1. So he's my stepping stone, my mile marker, how long I've been growing my hair out.
What led you to really decide to start growing your dreadlocks?
Well, it was my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of started growing my hair out anyway. I had a little mini fro, doing little texturizers, doing experiment, things like that. And then we was watching the Sunday's Best, where I saw this gentleman on there with long hair and with dreads. I mean, something was looking real good and for long. And I was like, man. And she was like, well, you can do it. And I was like, okay. So later that August, I had already started growing my hair out, so it was long enough to go and start getting it twisted. And I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I had it twisted. It's been, here we are, 7 years later.
Any hesitations at all before?
No, it really wasn't no hesitation. I went straight from getting the haircut on the green with the edge up, no braids or anything like that, straight going getting dread. So it was dramatic. Yeah, it was pretty dramatic. Yeah.
Do you remember so for me, I remember the first, not the very first, but one of the first moments when I wore my hair in public. I went back to school, 9th grade, and everyone was just looking, oh man, that's a topic of conversation for a couple of weeks. Do you remember it all, some of your first experiences?
Yeah, I was actually working at a call center, and I was a supervisor at the time. And everyone started calling me little DL Hughley. I had his little thing, but his stuff never grew. It was starting off. It looked real good because it's small little curls, and that short of a stage, it kind of looked decent. But as maybe a couple months went by, and it started growing, it was like, okay. So this is one of the things. Yeah, you definitely get some looks. It gets to look weird and funny for a while. It does. It takes you to a maturity stage too, because it's most importantly either you can deal with it, you can cut it off, or maturity and discipline. Just stick it out, I guess, more or less.
When you were working at the call center, how did everybody take the new hairstyle and everything?
It was it was a conversation piece. They would ask, what are you doing, or that type of thing, but it never affected my job.
Yeah.
Or anything like that for appearance or dress appearance or anything like that. It was just more of a conversation piece. People want to see how it's going to grow, how long you're going to grow, and you'd be so surprised in this area. At the time I was doing it, it started some momentum. For a while, dreads wasn't in this area. It wasn't really popular in the forest. When you go more south, things like that. So when I started doing it, a lot of people started asking a lot of questions. Not the reason why, or just very interested. Yeah. How long are you going to let it grow? And some people, some areas, or some people, period, don't keep them up. My hair look bad now. I had done 4 months, but some people just walk around. Some people had a bad stigma about the dreads or how you keep it, how you look at us. Some people let it just ball and knot up. So people had different reasons for the reason why their hair looked the way it looks. But in my case, it's really something I just want to experiment with. Just try it out and style and see what happens. But people just like it. They start asking questions, and to the point now where I'm at, it's still a conversation piece. When you meet different people, more rural areas, they see people on TV. Not too many people really deal with that face-to-face on an everyday basis, or run encounters and asking questions. Want to know if it's real, is it extensions, is it yours, is it not? What do you do with it? How long it take to get it done? So it's pretty
interesting. A lot of support and everything. People.
Oh yeah.
Or positive, I guess.
Oh yeah. They always refer. You like Larry Fitzgerald. You like this person. They always try to refer you to some, some athlete or different things like that. A lot of women ask questions about it, if it's real or not. They want to touch it, extensions and different things like that. A lot of guys are just used to it, So it's I think it's pretty funny. It doesn't. It's just no different. I think as someone walking around with an afro or purple or blue hair, it's like gonna look like, wow. I'm one of them type. I see someone walking with some pink blue hair, like, okay. What is she doing today? But hey, if it looks good, I think sometimes people associate someone with a hairstyle, figure there may be some type of belief or whatever. And me personally, the dreads don't make me. I make the dreads, so the dreads is only just hair or who I am. It's pretty much it to me.
Okay. She said when you first started, really, not a lot of people had dreads in this area and everything.
Right.
So since then, I feel like you have seen a lot more people, but as far as keeping it up and maintained clean.
That's the big thing. Typically, I don't walk around this long if I get my hair done. It's the winter time. I just like going around, I guess going through a phase of letting it growing out, not getting it done as much, keep my root stuff real good and strong, not getting twisted too much, twisting stuff out. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things in this area. If I don't get it done, at least try to keep my face or something like that clean. And people just walk around and don't get it done. Period. You have some older guys that have it, it's crazy. So that's really much the big stigma that they don't get it done, they don't wash it, just sting. It's a bunch of hair, or is it heavy? And I guess it's about the same thing of anything. Any women or any guy or one that has long hair, keep it up or keep it out and looking decent.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it's good to hear that in your job and everything, no one really had a lot of positive reactions and everything.
Right.
So when you hear a lot of people saying like you're never going to get a job with dreadlocks, and you've been pretty successful, 7 years with locks.
Yeah, I haven't. In the position I work now, Honeywell is a big Fortune 500 company. They're very diverse. I haven't had an issue. The power company, AEP, I was going before. In the energy industry, I've been doing it for the past 7 years, and that's been doing something. Starting dreads, so I started dreads from the day I started working with the utility till now. So they've seen the different stages of the knots, the poodle, the half hair. You can't do anything with it. And even with me meeting some of the high guys, the top guys in the utility company that run these programs, that work for, the director of the energy efficient programs, the coordinators, and they know me on first name basis, and it's never an issue with my hair, and it never has been. To be truthful, it's more of local and family, and in my case, it really wasn't the work industry or the companies or having job opportunities. A lot of times, I had an uncle tell me, nephew, you got all that hair, you looking all scrubby and rough, you always one strike against you because you're black. And I don't take me personally from what I'm saying. I don't have any strikes because I'm black. And that's how I look at it, okay? When you put out there what you get, if you put out there and the energy that you put out, I have one strike because I'm black. Or I feel no one's gonna hire me because I'm black. And two, that's one strike. Then my second strike, no one's gonna hire me because I have dreads. So you're already 2 strikes in. So you don't have 1 strike to go. So personally, I don't look at anything like that. I can go into a job, get any job I want because of who I am and the confidence I have in myself and the knowledge about the service or product that I'm interested in and that I'm going to get. So I don't look at any type of stigma myself for whatever reason that I couldn't get what I want. And I think sometimes that's a cultural thing. I look at things a lot differently. It really becomes my background. My mom raised me in church. I just don't. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, I don't look at things like that. I never had an issue of me not getting something that I want because of my skin color or my hair.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Not saying it doesn't happen. It happens every day. But with the energy and things I put out there, I figure you get what you receive what you put out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you receive and you seek positivity, and that's what you're looking for, that's what you're going to get back. If you're looking for money and different jobs, opportunities, looking for more positive motivation and doing something different, that's what you're going to get. If you're seeking racism, if you're seeking these type of things, that's the type of energy things you're going to receive. And I think that's me personally. I can't speak for anyone else, but that's how I'm operating.
In your world, it's really more so how you present yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. Perception is everything. When you meet someone, I did sales, and my position where I do with the power company now, I go to different businesses to engage in conversation and joining the program, say, installation company, HVAC company. So when I speak with them, the presentation and everything, you only have about 5 to 10 seconds to talk to them and explain to allow them to get past the majority of the business I go into that I'm black and you're white in this rural area. It's, of course they don't look at you funny or wow, what's he doing? Or of course, but I don't allow that to, okay, you acting funny. It is what it is. But at the same time, we're in for a business. You wanna survive. You wanna let people know about your business and what you have. So I have a product that I can offer you to get you out there in different avenues and different marketing avenues you can participate in the community, your city, and your state to let people know what you're doing. So yeah, I don't, and it never happens. I don't run into it. It's quite funny. I mean, you know, like I said, people people have those issues and situations, but I think it's all about how you carry yourself and knock down the barrier that, you know, I'm a black man with dreads in the professional environment. I mean, yeah, I'm a black man with dreads in a high position, and I don't. It doesn't really bother me. The people that bother are the people are the small-minded people that's not open to change or not open to what's really happening with diversity. I mean, if you get into different areas outside of where I'm currently living in West Virginia, you go anywhere else, the dreads and black men are in corporate America, and diversity is taking place every single day. Entrepreneurship, Fortune 500 companies, it's a lot more in the mainstream than people really think it is. Of course, you see it with athletes, you know, they helmets, basketball, different stuff like that. But even besides that, I think it's really taking place more now than people are really aware of.
So what's something you would say to someone who is small-minded, who feel like the dreadlocks are, it's maybe not professional or just don't view it as something that you'd be successful with?
Well, I haven't really had an encounter with people really addressing my hair in a negative way. Like I said, it was more just really family. Like, why are you doing that? Or, you know, you Rasta, you practice a different religion? No, just who I am. It's something I want to do. No. If anything, it was more with different people. It's a conversation piece. For me, someone white with different background or whatever, it's a conversation because the first thing they look at is my head. And I know they're looking at it, so I'll address it. I'm like, yeah, I know I ain't have my hair done. Or they're looking like, wow, is that on your hair? And I can tell, I know the difference when I get it done. And I may have some style, some more, my wife call African ethnic hairstyle when it's twisted or braided. I know the attention I'm going to get. And I'm cool with that. And they may be interested. How long did it take to get that done? Or, you know, can I touch it? Is it real? So they just as intrigued with it as we are. But sometimes we already have so many stigmas or negativity associated with us being black and in dreads and different things like that. You automatically feel offended sometimes. But in my case, I don't get offended. They just intrigued and want to know about it just as well as, you know, as you are getting it done. For me, every time I get it done, do a new style, I'm just excited as probably the next person who's going to see it. Or my wife or my son, you know. My 7-year-old, he doesn't know me without dreads. So it's cool when you see some pictures where I don't have them. You're like, wow, that's how I used to look. So it's this conversation piece. Even businesses, when I go talk to different people, you know, it's a conversation piece. They bring it up. And like I said, you know, they say, you like Larry Fitzgerald. And that's their way of saying, like, I'll take it as a compliment to the fact that I know they won't have an issue with small-minded people who watch sports. They see Larry Fitzgerald, whoever else coming with dreads. They would follow them, oh, wow, you family, you look good, this, that, and the third. So from one say, I'm just a, you know, a normal working guy, but a family, they say that. So that's their way of complimenting or saying something that trying to have a conversation, be survived without trying to be offensive. So it depends how you look at it. You know, you can look and say, oh, they try to say all black people look alike or whatever. I try to stay from negativity, man. I really do. Because if you can go down that road and with any hairstyle, box, fade, you can go anywhere. But I like my dreads. I'm not going to cut it. I like it. It is how it is.
All right. One last question. So you enjoy like really teaching people, educating people about the dreadlocks, having conversations about them.
Yeah.
But do you let people touch them?
No, it's kind of funny, man. The first time it happened to me, before I got to the position where I'm managing the energy program, I was working for the utility. I was going house to house. And it was kind of uncomfortable at first. It was real, because it's real personal. Like, okay, what kind of touch? I'm like, well, if they ask, I probably would say more yes versus if we were just having a conversation, you just reach up and grab, you know, like that type of thing. I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I really don't have an issue. The biggest thing I really get is it real or it's sold in. So one of the things a lot of people fail to realize, like, of course, racism and different things always been a big issue. But, a lot of people watch TV and they see people getting sew-ins, extensions, all this stuff. So the white females, the white guys, or whoever, they ask you because they are hip to what's going on in their culture in that era, knowing that you can get sew-ins and wigs and weaves and different things. So they ask, is that you get a sew-in? No, that's fine. Let me show you. Then I'll pull it out and I'll hold it, and there'll be some problem. Like, you see where the growth is not. So they say, how does it happen? How does it stay like that? And it's people on different scale, country, rural, business, and there it is. It's a conversation piece of how my hair turned to getting it cut to letting it grow to a little mini afro. It's just starting off like little little snakes, little curls, or whatever. Start off to it, actually form up to be what it is now. I think the more people are exposed to it on a professional level, you're looking good with it. I can look like this, and we'll throw a shirt and tie on, and I can come talk to 500 to 1,000 people without a problem. Because in my mind, in my concept, I just really don't accept any negativity. That's not how we flow, or in my house and our family. We'll look for positive results in everything. Of course, people not gonna like you because you blue, black. People not gonna like you because they don't like you, period. And I don't look as, I'm black, I have one strike. Okay, now I'm black, I had dreads, I had 2 strikes. I only have 1 strike left. I don't operate that way. But that's me, That's me. And I've been successful. That's what gives me results. I've been successful with it. And that's it.
All right. That about wraps it up. Anything else you wanted to add or throw in?
No, I think these are really good things. You taking the time to come out, talking, asking questions about different opinions. I know doing different interviews, speaking with different people. Some people have different concept of their experiences, and some people different experiences they don't have dreads, and it's probably crazy. But it goes back to you get what you put out there. If you put hard work, effort, time, respect, and you treat people as accordingly, you don't look at them as this, that, this, and the third. That's what you're going to receive back. You know what I'm saying? You want to get the same respect back. And I think the dreads and black young men coming together as one and just really going on a professional level. I think it's just something that's part of who we are as a young, different, as we're called millennials. Like I was saying about my uncle, he's one of them old school cats. They have a thing like keep your hair cut, the white man this, the white man that. Man, I'm not worried about the white man. You need to be worried about your neighbor. You provide for the. I'm not. He's not taking anything from me. You only get what you put out there. And so I'm not. I don't know. That's a whole different conversation. But some people are just small-minded. That's what I'm referring to, small-minded people. Just they feel like you're in a box. I don't look at myself in a box. I really don't. So I think me and my wife was telling me about an interview that she had. Not an interview, but she was watching the Oprah Winfrey interview. And someone asked her about racism, and she said she never had an issue to get where she at because of her racial skin color. She said she heard a quote from, I think maybe Al Sharpton, but never mind. I can't quote it correctly, so I'm not even going to say it. But it's basically to the reference to the point that, don't let your skin color stop you from getting what you want to get. And sometimes you may have to work a little harder, or you have to have your stuff in line. But I think that's one of our issues that's coming from a black community, I came from a long way from poverty, from growing up to where I'm at now. That my wife and I, we are pretty financially stable. We live in it. We're doing very good. It's just your mindset of what you can and can't do. And it's open to anyone who wants to have a dream. And if you have a dream, you write it down and you make that dream real. You make it real to the point that you feel like you can touch it and you see it, you visually see it. you see it on your paper, you mentally see it, and then you make that dream, you make it happen. And that's how it is with the dreads. Like when I first started, I knew what I wanted to look like. I told you, I seen the guy on Sunday's Best. His stuff was real long. And I see Malcolm Jamal Warner. And he's professional. I see AJ on BET. And he has now cut his dreads, and their guys were clean. They have great professionalism in TV. And that's the direction I went in. I want to keep professional and not focus that I have dreads, but at the same time, I know when I'm going to some job or some interview, I'm not going to walk in and like I was looking before I had this interview today with hair all over my face and my hair sticking up like that. At least I will pull it back and clean this up, put my clothes on, and here I am on Melvin. Thanks for the interview.
I want to take a quick break to give you a little behind the scenes on what's to come for BossLocks. For starters, we're going to start producing some more content to elevate Black voices and hear some insane stories from Black leaders who are doing some big things. Now, some of these are going to be public events that you could tune into on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. And I mean like live events, like live. So all the mistakes and everything more you will see in person firsthand. But some of the others will be private events that you could only experience if you're part of the BossLocks Village or the Working While Black Facebook groups. If you're not already signed up, now is the time to get in before you miss out. Now, speaking of the Village, if you want to support this podcast and my journey, the best way to do this is by signing up for the BossLocks Village. Not only is it a place for private shows, but it's also a place to get behind the scenes content and see everything that I'm doing to grow the brand. So if you want to support our show, my journey, and get access to these private events, please visit the link in the description to go directly to our Patreon page, the BossLocks Village. Now, last but not least, everyone, please go out and vote. It's already now open for early voting, and I think for the most of us, there's no point in waiting. Polls are open. Now, this election is also bigger than Trump or Biden. I know on the Georgia ballot, there's a bill on there that basically will determine if we could sue the government if they make laws that are unconstitutional. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that is big, especially with everything happening in the past 2 years. There have been laws and ideas and things have been pushed that we all kind of view as going against our human rights. So I think that it's, regardless how you feel about the president candidates, how we got to them and what we think they'll do over the next 4 years, there are so many other things that are going on that need our attention, from senates to Congress men and women to things like the bill I just mentioned. So please, go out and vote. And I want to see all of those I voted stickers popping up on the gram, Facebook, and text them to me too. I want to see that y'all voted. And, early voting just means that you won't have to wait 6 hours in line in the middle of COVID to press a few buttons. So try to get out there this week, next week, and let's make things happen, man. Now, yeah, I could go on, but I want to actually get back into our interview with Melvin Ross. About to tune into part 2, and it gets interesting. It gets interesting. So thank you for listening, and back to our show.
So they put ourselves into a box, or we allow people to put ourselves in a box because what they see on TV, or they drive down the street and a man with dreads standing on the side with some Timberlands on, sagging his pants, they think we all the same. But unfortunately, we're not. We're saying that we Black and we dreads, but I'm not the same for his activity and his entrepreneurship or whatever he has going on. And the vice versa with the white man. You see them, they're the same ones standing on the street, living in a trailer, or they're looking at a hot mess, or just walking looking at a mess. They're not the same as the businessman. And so, in my opinion, the same corporate America white guy that look at the same guy that's standing in the corner with dreads and look at him and think that we are the same. But that same corporate America white guy, some relationship I have with those particular individuals, they look at their own kind that's not working, living in a trailer park, not doing anything the same kind as the guy with the dread. They look at them two as the same. But just because of who I am, they look at me at a level and the one that we having a conversation with. sometimes a lot of people want to say, "Oh man, they like you," or people call you all the time. Look, man, I'm telling you, I don't kiss no one's butt. I don't ask for anything at all. Period. I'm at where I'm at because of my faith with my wife, and we support one another, and we believe that we can get anything we want to get because of because of your vision and your drive of what you want to have. And we pray and we ask the Lord, but this is what we want. This is exactly what we want. That's what we want to get. So we're gonna put forth an effort and energy into going in that direction and not focus on what people are gonna look at me, what people are gonna say. I mean, the neighborhood we live now, when we first moved in, we're the only black couple over there. I had this 90-year-old man asked me one time, "No, who you work for?" I told him for the power company. He always accommodated me, keeping my yard so clean. But he said, "Man, you always running around doing everything so fast. You should work for UPS." So I got offended. And I told my wife, I was like, "The hell you mean I should work for UPS? Or I can't work for the power company or something." But she's like, "Mel, you got to think. He's 93 years old. Before you be living over here in this neighborhood, you work for a power company, something that he probably never expected to want to have." So I'm cool. And now that guy talks to me every single day. He came to my house the other day. He walked on my porch. He bring me calendars for every year or whatever and stuff. He said, "Melvin, I'm on my last leg." He's 93 years old, Mr. Hayes. He said, "Melvin, you don't have any kids." And he always talked to me about going on vacation and different stuff. He said, "Now, Melvin, he ain't going to stint, but he said, on my last leg, I'm slowing down." So in the past 5 years we living at, he's seen a big change. Now I know it's a change to him. And it's sincere. And I'll be the type that something happened to him, named Mr. Hayes. And I'll go to the funeral. Probably only, but I know there's a difference in him since I've been there and how he reacts to me. And I could have took what he said offensively and started doing dumb stuff. But it never happened. I mean, he speaks to me no matter where I'm at. He'll holler, scream, "Hey, Melvin," I'll be on the other end of the street. But, it's just one of those things, So I take, really, it's funny, I'm going to say this, that I use my black as a get-in free card. Not get in free, but I promote myself like, it's who I am. This is it. And that's kind of how I am. I really don't focus on any negativity. Like I could tell you that people say, people like you and your wife. Nah, yeah, they might like us, but we don't go around lying. We don't go around just trying to get over people. Just want a handout, man. We volunteer. We put our time in. When we first got introduced to the area where we live, when we bought our house, it's a historical area, and we wanted to start going to, house parties, basically. People in certain areas, a certain stigma. The mayors and the big shop callers that own the grocery stores, all the car lots in this area. We wanted to be the part of their social club. We got tired, the clubs, black scene was getting too crazy, people shooting, all that stuff. So we want a different social club, and that's what we got. A house historical. We received a letter in the mail about a historical party. We went, and it was weird. It was the only black thing there, but we had each other. And they'll say, "Hey, meet you, whatever," because of course they'll say hi or whatever. And then from there on, we kept going. We kept showing our faces. Everything we got invited to, we go. Every single thing. And it was very uncomfortable. And but then it got to the point, they'd speak and say, but we always had each other. We stuck by each other. And when we looked, we dressed up. We were clean, participated, did everything that was needed to be doing, not doing anything out of the ordinary. He said, anybody, we went. But then it gets to the point now that soon we walk in the room, people walk to, "Hey, how y'all doing? What's your name? What you do?" That they gravitate to it. We'll go stand in that corner and you give me about 30 to 40 minutes. They come running, talking to you, want to ask a question, want to know what you're doing, how business is going. And that's the thing I was saying about the staying consistent, taking advantage of the opportunities of things that happen in an environment. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable at first. Absolutely. And they're going to look at you like, who the hell is he? Why is he here? But every time you go, it's like, put your blazer on, button up your shoes, and you keep it moving. And don't even care. Now to the point, I took the new city manager, Dane Ryder. He came from New York. He was at a historical meeting. He met me. I ain't know the dude from Adam. He said, "I want you on." He started talking. That's what I do. And I told him, he said, "I want you on our planning commission." I thought as a normal board member. The next following year, I got moved up to the vice chair of the Bluefield planning commission that helps make decisions on the city, different movements. Me and my wife, we get invited to, I mean, the guy that owned the grocery stores in the area, Grand Supermarket, Tom Cole, the mayor, we personally invite to his Christmas parties. The Senator Bill Cole that was running for governor, we can go to his house every year for Halloween party. It sends a private invite to our email. We see them, they speak to us. And all become being consistent who you are and not having that block. And one of the things is that in this area that we really have to, there's no longer that one family can do it. And as far as the coals, you probably heard of the coals in the rail yard, that, in the coal mines, that it's just as much black people on the north side that it is the white people on the south side. But there's no longer just this white family can do the whole thing to bring Bluefield back to where it used to be. It has to be a merge. And my wife and I, we kind of put ourselves in a position to merge the two together. You know what I'm saying? We have people like, man, can you introduce to this, and third? Yeah. We can introduce you to those type of people, but once you make that connection, it's on you to hold your end up on it. You know what I'm saying? Not for you to burn the bridge. We made some connections that people that were introduced to, the people that can help them get to where they want to go. It didn't work out because of that person's mentality or their mindset. They want to take, but don't want to give back. You gotta give. You gotta volunteer your time. You know what I'm saying? You can't go in so boisterous. All the black people don't get this. The black people don't get this. Man, do the black people really want it? It's so much that sometimes I feel that we knock our own stuff out because of our own negativity, our own small mind frame. You know what I'm saying? That if you go interview someone else different, they'll say the white man won't let them have anything. But what are you trying to get? You say the white man, have you been working? You have a job? You have a business plan? No, why not? What do you do? Well, I can't get a job. Why can't you get a job? I got a felony. Why you have a felony? Because I was selling drugs. Exactly. So it's always a cause. It's a reaction to cause. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a record. I'm pretty sure you don't have a record. I'm pretty sure. So I look at things a lot different, man. So instead of you trying to go start off with the Fortune 500, you got to start where you can start off because you have a record. Start at McDonald's. Build yourself up. Go to Walmart. Build yourself up. Have a clean record. Then you're able to get to where you want to go. A lot of times, you're not going to come out of jail from selling drugs and expect to go make a $50,000 at your job. It's just not going to happen. But you did it to yourself. So I think everyone had the exact same opportunity as the next person. It's just about you're going to take advantage of the opportunity. Some people are right. Some people may have parents that had stuff set up for them. Yeah, you're right. But some people had to try to work a little harder. But you still set with the same opportunity to start something. But, we listen to the trap music. It's a trap, man. That's why it's called a trap music. Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, ain't nothing I'm doing what they say they doing. They ain't pushing no keys. Come on, man. Really? So they'll be locked up. Come on. And nobody's stupid. And you see in the area of different neighborhoods, yeah. People riding around, nice ride, all that stuff. No matter time, you can get popping, it's going. You're doing 20 to 30 years. There's always a has-been. Oh, yeah, they used to be balling. They used to have that. They used to do that. But I'm cool. Maintaining what I'm doing. And I get where I'm getting. With the people I know and the connection I have, I never have to worry about anybody taking anything from me. That's it, man. I just people's just mindset. And once you get past that, people like yourself and myself and my wife, just staying straight and being consistent who you are, the possibility is endless, man. It's endless. And I don't think every white man look at the black man with dreads the same way. It's a perception. It happens. You're absolutely right, but it's one of those things. I had I think a basketball coach told his high school student he don't grow dreads because it's not gonna look good when you try to get to a college and stuff like that. Small-minded people, man. I look at it. But I'll shut up because we'll be here all day, man.
I just want money in the bank. Have no time for them. We just pray and say amen. Been here, boys, since way back when. I just want money in the bank.
All right, that is a wrap. Thank you all for listening to BossLocks. Assure we are redefining professionalism, elevating black voices, and proving that natural hair and professionalism do coexist. Now, like Melvin said, he could go on, and we're actually going to bring him back soon. That interview was recorded back in 2017, and a lot has happened for my life, Boss Locks, and a lot has happened in his life as well. So really looking forward to bringing him back on. So stay tuned for that. Now, in the meantime, we're back. We went on this like 2 week break, and it was perfect. It was everything I needed. So we're back to every Tuesday putting out some incredible stories from Black leaders, and I can't wait to share the next one that's coming up. Now, you can stay tuned and plugged into everything that we're doing by going to bosslocks.org. Make sure you sign up to the mailing list, check out our Patreon page, and make sure you're supporting and get access to some new things coming up. And of course, make sure you are following or tuned in to Working While Black. Right now, it's a Facebook group, but we're about to bring it to LinkedIn and shake up that professional world. So I'm excited and nervous, but it's going to be great either way. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your support, your continued listening. I love getting the messages from all of y'all. And also, I have a lot to announce, but I'm going to cut it right here. Thank you all once again. Tune in next Tuesday, and for my email newsletter subscribers, y'all gonna get a surprise message pretty soon. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll speak to you soon.
Shout the family, cause I need them, yeah, I need them. If I pull up in the German, I want the best version, tryna kill bills like Uma Thurman. Money in the bank, money in the bank. I just want money in the bank, money in the bank. I just want money in the bank, money in the bank. I just want money in the bank. I just want money in the bank.